Clutch closers. I am often trying to think, what is the difference between a clutch closer like yourself who is constantly swimming at the top of the board and those people down at the bottom who are constantly drowning at the bottom of the board? Because I believe in sales that if we can take and boil this down to its simplest pieces, and if we can understand those simplest pieces that are there, then we know how to become the best that we can be, and now we know and understand why we're constantly striving at the top. So what is that difference? The difference between that person swimming along, that person sipping margaritas out by the pool, and the one suffering down at the bottom? The difference is simple, and it's with any sport. It's with any sales that you go into. I don't care if you're selling real estate, if you're selling cars, if you're selling toasters, if you race mountain bikes, road bikes, play football or box, the difference between that person at the top and that person at the bottom will always come down to one thing. And that one thing is where they give up. Where do they give up? Where do you give up inside the process? How many no's can you take before that brain just gets too weak and it can't handle it anymore? How much rejection can you take before you finally just give up? How many times can somebody tell you they're not buying today under any circumstance and you continue to move forward? How many steps forward can you take before you can't take another one? If I want to understand what keeps you driving, that also comes down to one simple component. Again, that same person at the top, where they give up, that comes down to one simple component. How much suffering can you take? How much suffering, how much grinding can you take? I promise you, when it comes out, and those people at the top, they grinded to get to where they at. They're coming in, they're working on their off days, they're working extra hours, they're constantly talking with customers. They are not wasting their time. Time is precious to them. They understand that time is the grind, and that's what they're moving forward with. How much suffering can you take? You're a clutch closer, you're probably at the top of the board, you understand this. The definition of sales is just as simple. You figure out what a customer wants, and then you figure out how to give it to them. The difference between the person at the top and that person drowning at the bottom is where they give up and how much suffering that they can take. How many objections can you overcome? Do you have 5 in your pocket right now? 5 closes that you can just pull out, that you know backwards and forwards, that you've practiced over and over and over again? Because when Tiger Woods was at the top of his game, do you know how many thousands of drivers he was hitting? How many thousands of putts he was taking to practice? How much are you practicing? Are you putting in the effort on and off the field? Are you truly suffering? Because once you grind through that suffrage, that's on the other side of that is redemption. On the other side of that suffering, on the other side of all those no's is a yes. On the other side of that is the dreams and the goals that you are working for in life. Everything that you want, anything that's worth having, is worth suffering for, and it's worth moving and walking through the fire and that brick wall to get there. That person at the top never gives up. That person at the top is committed. They understand that their commitment is the most important commitment in the deal, more important than their customers, more important than their managers. Your commitment, your clutch closing commitment is the most important commitment that you can possibly have, committing to yourself, committing to the car deal. If you believe you do, if you believe you don't, you're probably right. Their attitude is upbeat, it's positive, it's geared towards closing a deal. What do I need to do to close a deal? What did I do today to close a deal? Their attitude is upbeat, it's positive, and they're continually moving forward. Continually moving forward. And you may not see it, and the reason why it looks easy is because they are practicing. Commit to the deal, commit to yourself, up your attitude, and practice and understand that the biggest difference between that person at the top, the person at the bottom, is how much suffering they can take and where they gave up. And that's how you become a clutch closer. And speaking of becoming a clutch closer, understand a principle of reciprocity. Give that guy down at the bottom a helping hand. Share the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell so you can get the little alerts when they come in. That's how you become clutch in the close. That's how you become a clutch closer, and give it a like.